Let's talk about the pros and cons of buying houses in the hood. You can get them cheap, right? Or is it really cheap? Let's talk about it. What's up, guys? It's your boy Sawan Belcher, and I'm a full-time real estate investor here in Greensboro, North Carolina. Now, lately, we've been getting a lot of press. We're getting a lot of people that's just now finding us and realizing that we've done a really good job. We've been able to come up with a system that has guaranteed us to be able to find great discounted properties consistently here in our market. And a lot of people ask me like, hey, how do I find those houses? Now, today is more like, great, I want you to buy those houses, that are $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 houses. But I also want to warn you, okay? I also want to warn you of some of the things that I've come across that's like, to necessarily feel so good about buying little houses in the hood, okay? And we'll go over some of the pros and the cons so you guys can get like a general of both. Because everything's not all bad and everything's not all good. A $25,000 house, hey, that's great, So I mean, let's not even complain about that. Actually, the house that we're in now, our office, is one of the houses that we purchased for less than $25,000. I think this one we bought for $21,000. Okay, now this is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house, that's roughly about 1,250 square feet. So, hey, that's not bad at all. But whenever you're buying these cheap houses, typically you have to buy them in an area that has a particular demographic. Whenever you buy houses in the hood for cheap, you're gonna be limited to who is going to be willing to rent there, okay? In my opinion, most people go for the Section 8 renter, someone that's going to pay them guaranteed rent. Now, I love Section 8. I have a few houses that are on Section 8 myself, because they definitely do pay. But one thing that I don't like is that the tenants typically nitpick the house, and essentially it's just a matter of time until they get kicked off of the program. Those tenants are just typically harder to please. I mean, think about it. If you were to have a free place, like if your insurance company was paying for you to stay, somewhere, you might nitpick it too. Those tenants are a little bit of a headache, and then the good tenants that you really want, the tenants that have a job, the tenants that are, willing to keep the house up, the tenants who are willing to plant flowers and keep the house clean, they don't necessarily want to come to this area. Now, will I say over time, the hood changes? For sure. Now, I'll say when I bought this house, how long have I had this house? Maybe for 3 years now, okay? I've never been paid a penny from this house. Now, another problem with buying the $25,000 house, or I bought houses for $5,000, another huge problem is the title issues that come with these, houses. Essentially because they are so cheap, the sellers can't make a huge profit, so a lot of the time it's more beneficial for them to try to hold on to the properties. And while they hold on to them, they have expenses. They got insurance and taxes and maintenance to the yard, maintenance to the house. It's expensive to do that, so a lot of the time they'll neglect doing all of those things in hopes that something will change. But really what happens is the city cuts the grass, and then there's city code violations because they're coming by the house now. And then that turns into fees because the homeowners aren't doing work. Let's just say you get a house under contract for 25 grand. It's been vacant for the last 6 years. They haven't paid their taxes for 3 of those years. So now you got $4,000 in fees, right? Then you have code violations for them not cutting their grass, so $300 every other month. And that's another $3,000 is tacked on. And then you also realize that same seller had some kind of judgment or some kind of credit issue or repoed their car or something like that. And next thing you know, that's $10,000. And instantly, before you know it, you've done all the work to get the deal under contract, to negotiate with them, to get it entitled, but the fees are more than the actual price of the house that you can buy for, and now you got a dead deal. That happens all the time. Now, can we solve that? Maybe. but maybe not. A lot of those deals just end up dead. So just understand when you're going for these cheap houses, get them under contract, get them entitled, find your exit strategy, but also get another one real quick. Now, that's why I tell these sellers who have these houses like this, I say, I'd much rather buy 3 from you at the same time than just buy 1. Because if I buy 3 25 houses at the same time, even if the expenses, outweigh what I'm buying, on one of them, the other 2 should kind of make that up a little bit, and it'll keep things going. Now, a huge downside to buying houses in the hood is how much fix-up you got to do on them. Okay, really, the fix-up is crazy. One thing you hear a lot on YouTube is they'll say, do not over renovate the property. Okay, I think that's totally true. You don't want to over renovate the property, and because we're in the hood, think about the level of renovation that an investor is going to do to that property. Okay, that might mean the original hardwood floors we just refinish. Maybe we don't even fill in the gaps. Okay, we just put some cord around the edges. Maybe that means that we don't even put insulation in the crawl space. The house never actually truly stays warm. Maybe that means, like, if there's a loose joist, we kind of just look over that. We put a Band-Aid on it and put a jack under the house to hold it up. So when you buy that house, it's always gotten all of these Band-Aid fixes. And if you want to keep house for a generation, you have to fix those things, which means that your rehab cost is going to be more expensive. Now, the big reason why this rehab cost is a problem is because a deal is not a deal unless you have equity. Okay, and so if you buy a $25,000 house, it needs $60,000 worth of work, and the neighbor's house just sold for $60,000 or $70,000. That's not really a good deal. I mean, really, in order to make that scenario work, I'd have to get that house for $5,000 to make it work. Okay, now on the opposite end of that, the way that's a good thing is the seller will more likely see the benefit of taking their profits over time or allowing you to take over a mortgage in that case. Okay, now, like I said, with every pro, there's a con. This is a big one. Okay, opportunity zones. Okay. If you guys purchase houses in low income areas since he was in office and 10 years after he'll be out of office, you have an opportunity to pay 0 taxes on the income that comes in from the property, 0 tax on the capital gain from the money that you use to purchase that property, and 0 tax on the sale if you hold it for 10 years. So there are amazing tax benefits to buying houses in the hood. Now, and the last reason why I like buying properties in the hood is because that hoods always change. Okay, I'm gonna run you back through a scenario. I was thinking about this when I was younger. To live on the suburbs, it was more expensive. And then the inner city was the hood and it was cheap. I don't know if you guys remember that, okay? But when I was a child, you moved on the suburbs because you had money. You wanted to be away from crime. You know what I'm saying? You wanted to have a bigger house, more space. Now, today, you go to the hood, which is the inner city downtown, and the townhomes are $500,000. Hoods always change. So if you're willing to buy a house and hold on to it long enough for it to appreciate, you'll come out really good when it's time to sell. Okay, now how long that's gonna take, we don't really know. But I think the real key piece to this is if you can handle the lack of security, if you can handle the rehab, if you can structure the deal where you can hold the house as long as possible, I think buying houses in the hood is absolutely amazing. Matter of fact, I'm gonna flash the 4-unit onto the screen real quick. When we purchased the 4-unit, for about 4 days straight, there was shooting in the middle of the day. Shooting, okay? Literally 2 blocks up, you could see it from the front yard at the stoplight. I was able to purchase that 4-unit for $90,000. So that's less than $25,000 a door, okay? And I just got an extension on my Airbnb. Those I use as an Airbnb, okay? Because once again, I don't want the tenants that are there in the neighborhood. I want to be able to renovate the property so it looks good. People on Airbnb, they're making their judgment by pictures, so they book. I got a nurse there that has stayed there for the last 2 months, and now she's gonna stay until April, paying me $2,600 a month to stay in a 1-bedroom, 1-bath studio. Think about that. And this is a 4-unit. Okay, this is a 4-unit. So is buying houses in the hood a good thing? Let's just say there's pros and cons. We'll see you on the next one.